Till that until 1885, vodka in Russia was usually only sold in buckets of 12.3 liters, 13 quarts. How did the Russian children take their vodka to school then? I had a professor who had lived in the former USSR tell me that vodka bottles in the former USSR used to be made so that you couldn't reseal the bottle and save it for later. There was no need for it. No cap, no cork, no nothing. It spoke to the extreme alcohol problem that area had / is currently having. That was some culture shock for sure. Also in Russia, beer was considered a soft drink until recently. It is unclear why this change in volume occurred. Possible factors are an increased strength in vodka in the 18th century, and the subsequent standardizing of alcoholic content in the 19th century. Once the higher potency of vodka was standardized, it may have then seemed a wise idea to downsize the serving size. In Estonia, the same volume bucket was used, and the vodka was 50% ABV, 100 proof. Tervisks, cheers in Estonian. 500 years of spirit production in Estonia, https://moe. EE/WP content/upload/2018/12/500 years of spirit production in Estonia and 2012. PDF. I mean, who wants to go to the store every day? A brewer's dozen. Okay, here's what really happened. In Russian Empire, vodka production was a state monopoly that provided a very large share of the state's budget. However, vodka distribution was more complicated. The state preferred to deal with wholesale supplies, yes, by selling vodka by the bucket, which would then resell vodka in pubs of sort, including selling at lower volumes by the bottle. The idea was to avoid untaxed vodka by controlling the supplies, and, in this distribution chain, the reseller would have an interest in ratting out the competition. The state normally supported local monopolies or oligopolies. However, since the state couldn't really say no, we don't sell to private parties, besides, there were other bulk buyers like large nobility estates, and since they didn't really want to deal with the end buyers directly, the idea was to make the purchasing unit as impractical for personal use as possible, hence the bucket. It backfired, at some point, badly, as the few buyers would chip in to purchase a bucket for personal use. Yes, vodka was pretty expensive due to taxation, much more so than alcohol in North America at the same time, but since 12.3 liters is a lot of vodka, people would get really wasted, even if they didn't drink all that frequently, and cause all sorts of troubles. And, yes, it caused alcohol addiction, particularly for those who could afford it at least temporarily. As a result, the state started selling vodka in lower volumes by 1885. No, you could still buy a bucket, particularly if you were a reseller, but at least you could buy it directly in lower volumes. Holy shit, that's a lot of vodka. Another fact that someone found on the internet and did not even bother to check its truth. An ancient, but not the only measurement of alcoholic liquids. There were both large, kegs, 490 liters, anchor, 25 liters, and smaller, quarter, 3 liters, Stoff, 1.3 liters, bottles, liter, half a liter, churka, 100 grams, shkalik, 50 grams, measurement of alcoholic liquids. Large, including buckets, were used in wholesale trade. Small, starting with bottles in retail. Here are the usual Russian bottles with volumes from 1 liter to 250 grams from the 1700s. https://upload. Wikimedia, org/wikipedia/commons/thumb/8/89% D0% A8% D1% 82% D0% B% D1% 84% D1% 8B. JPG/1280px-% D0% A8% D1% 82% D0% B% D1% 84% D1% 8B. JPG. Stop spreading nonsense, and then reinforce your own borderline racist stereotypes. Upvote for Mac Russian Department, Go Scots. Ah yes, the bucket challenge, my great-grandpa would say. Why? Was there a law preventing them from selling it in larger containers? When UP tries to convert to American so they'll intuitively understand how much that is but uses the wrong imperial volume unit and none of them immediately understand. That's about 3 gallons, for the record. Or as they called it in Russia, small. 1885 was a long time ago. Deleted. Kausko. Post, 12. 3 liters. Americans, neutral face. Post, that's 13 quarts. Americans, neutral face. Post, that's 3 gallons. Americans, hushed face. Nobody bought vodka back then for home use. Made it themselves or drank in bars, Rye Amaknaya. LOL McAllister. Honey, when you go out, could you pick up a couple buckets of vodka? We're getting low. Bottling your own beer will tell you why. Now make your own beer bottles first. Then get them back. Then sanitize them. Okay, they wouldn't have done that, but still. They didn't serve shots, sad face, only buckets. My first time in the US I discovered that they sell plastic 2-liter bottles of vodka. I also discovered that UK customs didn't like a 15-year-old arriving with one. How many football fields is that? Asking for Americans. Well yeah, who wants to have to go back to the store for more vodka every few hours? It's called a serving of vodka, thank you very much. Do you get to keep the bucket? It must be a terrible country where you have to drink yourself blind to survive it. Oh wait, NM. Costco hits button invest. 1 day's worth per person as they called it in Russia. Serves 1, the only appropriate amount to have at a time. That's a pure corporate act of reducing packages size and keep the price. Fucking 3 gallons of vodka at a time. Christ. Enough for 1 day. Nothing to see here. Even later on, Stolichnaya had the bottle that could not be recapped once it was open, as it was assumed the average Russian would consume the whole bottle once opened. The history of Russia and vodka is intertwined and dark. Quarts. Made me research more about origins of vodka and found this. https://youtube.b/sr_37f6hhte. Barely enough for a week. WTF is a quart. So anyone got a picture of one of these buckets? I looked online and couldn't find it. Americans, how much is 12? 3 liters. Also Americans, how much is 13 quarts?